Once upon a time. There was a time when small things, the little things that make up life, were enough to make one happy. To walk, observe, to sing, dance, draw, cultivate. But then there were those times upon the earth that men and women had to face strife and rise to refuse, resist, to reject, oppose, listen, speak up, and to back, or be silent. The patience of the baobabs. Once upon a time, there was a village called Ndingler, surrounded by giant trees with dense foliage and shade, and fertile land with rich pastures for their large herds. This village was run by its founder in the 1900s, whose grandparent is a Wagor. One morning in Ndingler is enough to discover the beauty and atmosphere of the village. Under the morning sun, the villagers competed with courage and skill to get water from the big well in the middle of the village, under the rhythm of songs and whistles. But one morning, the whole village woke up with surprise and amazement. Everyone was worried and sad by the bad news. A gentleman in a suit coming from the capital, Mr. Khaliz, had bought the village land. How did this happen? Immediately, Mr. Wagor appeared in the public square, dressed in a large traditional baobab, with his cap tightly fitted on his head and leaning on his stick. He calmed the people, then mobilized them to fight this fraud, and announced that it was Mr. Sifa who wanted to take over their land in exchange for what he called better living conditions. Roads, tracks, electricity, that sort of thing. But Mr. Wagor and the people of the village categorically refused, because their land is an ancestral legacy and remains their greatest heritage. That's when Mr. Safer came with a briefcase full of money to bribe them. But the people of the village attached to the inheritance of the land, and most importantly the legacy of their ancestors and their connection to them, still refused his offer. Mr. Safer went even further, this time using methods of coercion to intimidate the people. But they remained firm in their position. And after many failed attempts, the matter was laid to rest, and the people of Ndingler entered into a dance, something that was customary in their culture and village life. They danced as a gesture of goodwill and to ease tensions and to usher in a spirit of mediation. After several mediations, Mr. Safer finally understood, and with humility began to understand the importance of the land and its ancestral connection to the people of Ndingler. He finally decided to cease and desist with his propositions. With the matter drawn to a close, the whole village came together in a festive atmosphere to show joy at having kept their land, which now will continue to be cultivated forever. Thus lived the tale, timeless, immortal, breath of life that the children of the village still, to this day, breathe in Impulsa.